What's up, guys? Today we will be doing a full speed test for the S24 Ultra versus the S25 Ultra. I still think the S24 Ultra is the best phone that you could buy this year. It's $550 used refurbished marketplace. I bought this one for actually around $600, but now it's dropped to $550. And yeah, so it is a extremely good phone. It's got the boxy design. People like the Bluetooth S Pen. We did the full comparison with the S25 when it first came out, and the cameras looked identical to me. So we do have the One UI 8 update, and I just, very curious to see if there is any sort of performance difference between this 8 Gen 3 and this 8 Elite processor, if they've actually, if they are a little bit closer in performance now, because it was extremely hard to tell the difference. Like I said, you're getting the same phone for way cheaper. So if you do decide to get an S24 Ultra, you're getting basically the same phone. And honestly, depending on who you ask, a slightly better phone, because if you prefer this design or the Bluetooth S Pen, then that's a win in the S24's department. Alright, we're on Android 16 One UI 8, latest security patch for both of these phones. Let's go ahead and get started here. I will be shocked if there's like legit any type of difference here. Got Subway Surf. Okay. S25 definitely right there. Let me turn the volume down. It's not all super loud. One thing you'll notice between the screens on these phones is that you kind of have a more like a TV shape kind of look on the S24 Ultra, which it still has that boxy shape, but it's not as like sharp. Because of the body style, it makes it look more like a TV on the S24. They both have that anti-reflection coating, which is nice. So even though they're under these harsh lights, you can see like that glare would be super harsh if it didn't have it. Okay. Everything feels, pretty similar. Animation, consistency. Animations are buttery smooth. Like it's ridiculous. So it looks like the S25 is like maybe a 0.5 seconds, a little bit quicker. Not necessarily something you would notice, right, in real life. You would only notice this, and we got the S24 actually beat it there. You would actually notice this. You wouldn't notice this if you didn't put the phones side by side. But yeah, both these phones have 12 gigs of RAM. Snapchat. Okay. They feel extremely similar, guys. Really no difference. Check out our scrolling. Okay. Spotify. 8 ball. Okay. Camera. Jetpack. Now this is where the S22 Ultra kind of struggles when it comes out of that animation in landscape, but I'm pretty sure the S24 Ultra shouldn't have that problem at all. Like the speed difference again for the 1000th time is very minor. Okay, let's see if we get that little animation jerk. Nope, perfectly smooth. Yeah, so very minor difference here. For your reference, this is the best score that I got, and I believe this is the best score for the S25. So for your reference, so Geekbench is really weird. You have to run it like multiple times. Okay, that looked like a tie. Boom. Angry Birds. Bit of a heavier game to load up. Okay, S25, S24 right after. I mean, this is really not noticeable. Maybe we get a little bit of stuttering with the multitasking part. It would just be crazy though. TikTok. $3D mark. If you are a gamer, the S25 is crazy overkill because you guys can see the score difference here. So the S24 was already like a crazy good gaming phone, but I mean it's almost to the point where it's like, what do you even do with all this power, right? Because most mobile gamers are playing like PUBG, Call of Duty, but those games aren't like crazy graphically demanding unless they start really bringing console titles. I mean, it's really hard to take advantage. Performance wise, we're pretty similar, 15 to 36, 17 to 49. Let's check out the multitasking, see if we get any closeouts. Again, these are both 12 gigs of RAM, so I expect them to perform the same. Okay. No difference. All right. No difference so far, and very consistently smooth on the S24's part, so it's able to keep up very well. Okay, very nice. Yeah, so it looks like zero difference with performance here. I won't say zero because there's like a 0.5 second difference with the S24 here. But now one thing I do see here is that we got a little bit of dimming on the S24, so the screen is a lot dimmer than on the S25 right now. So I wonder, let's see if there's no way it actually got hot. Yeah, it's not hot, but they're about the same when it comes to both being warm. All right, let's go ahead and try PUBG here. See if we notice a bit of a difference in load time. Okay, S24 actually loaded that up quicker. Okay. All right, so regardless of, what you're doing on your phone, the difference is going to be non-existent for, I think, most, even power users. I'm not even going to say most people. Power users still won't be able to, I think, necessarily find a gigantic difference between these two phones because they game at the same settings, 120 frames. They do an excellent job if you are somebody who's in emulators. They do an excellent job if you are multitasking a lot and doing a lot of, just app switching and GPS, and you're just running a bunch of stuff. Maybe doing some video editing. There's not really a difference. Like I said, these processors are getting to the point where they're just extremely strong. And even we can go back to the S23 series. Even for power users, those, that chipset is still really good. So again, not a big difference. I don't have any heating issues with either of these phones. They do a very good job. So I would say, so far performance is definitely, extremely similar. It's only a one generation upgrade, so you really won't see a big difference. And I think at this rate, you won't see a big upgrade. Like, I think the S25 will be just as fast as the next 27, S28 at this point. Let's see if there's a speed difference with like an AI task. Erase. Generate. Yeah, they both did it at the exact same time. There's no real difference there. Actually did a pretty good job, actually. Let's check out video zoom. So this is one thing that I think they try to improve a lot, year after year. So we'll do punch out, punch in. Yeah, 3 times. So this 5 times we switch to Yeah, I think the S25 was a little bit smoother. It's very hard to tell. The 10 times transition is really good. Yeah, so let's see it snap back to 1. I mean, if there is a difference, it's, I don't think, not necessarily noticeable. So let's look at the playback. Yeah, they both kind of did a little rough right there. Okay, yeah. So the 5 times, when you snap to 5 times, it's smoother on the S25 for sure. All right, so lastly, we got a 4K 60 video on both phones here. So let's go ahead and click save, and then we'll start our little timer. And this might be the biggest difference we see between these two phones. No, it's not really that big of a difference. So, 4K 61 minute, it's not looking that different, actually. So the S25 is starting to jump ahead a little bit, but okay, so it did that in 32 seconds. All right, so the S24 did it in 40 seconds. So 32, 40 seconds. And I mean, if it was a longer video, you kind of could tell the difference a little bit, but not really. So I would say the speed difference is extremely minimal. There's no difference in animations. There's no difference in, so far the AI tasks that it does. There's not a major difference in camera transitions either. And just general, animations and stuff. They look, extremely similar on, both of these phones. So I would say the difference is very minimal or really not even noticeable.